Someone has settled in here.
And whoever it is has something to tell me about the Hawkins case. Is there anyone in there? You! Don't move! Detective Pierce. I told you to stay away from this warehouse.
You sent your men away. Bad idea. I see only one overweight police officer and one hardened veteran.
How dare you? I am a representative of the law.
Relax. Look what I found. Can you explain what this painting is doing here?
This strange portrait. Wait, I know it.
It was in the Hawkins mansion when we came to investigate the fire.
So you confirm that it was removed from the crime scene. Interesting. I'd like to go and see the mansion now.
Of course. You want to go back along his trail? I'd like to understand how this painting made it to here. Come on. My car's parked down the way. Andrews, would you please shut the door? And open your eyes, damn it. This guy went right under your nose. God damn it. Her again. This case has nothing to do with you, Baker. Clear the passage or I'll shut you up for obstruction.
Officer Bradley, you've finally grown a pair. Too bad you're too fat to see them down there.
Why, you...
Come on, keep the smile. You don't want to force me to widen it.
Okay, I get it. Can we go to the mansion now?
I thought I'd straightened you out, mister. I am disappointed, but we'll meet again.
Is it far, this mansion?
Look behind you, at the top of the ridge. You see the building? That's the Hawkins mansion. Come on, we got some driving to do. Well, here we are. Hawkins Mansion. The place has been abandoned since the fire. There's only old Winchester in his hut.
Your partner, Andrews, warned me against him.
You managed to get something out of that bum? I'll end up asking you for advice.
He talks too much. He inferred that old Silas was slightly unhinged.
That's not far off the mark, I suppose. But kinda unfair at the same time. You know, Silas Winchester has been working for the Hawkins family as far back as I can remember. Charles was like a son to him. The day of the fire, he lost his whole family. So he's got nowhere to go. And, as you'll see, in a way he's still watching over them. Is there anything else you want to ask me? Or do you want to go up there?
You're the one who looked after the Hawkins case.
Don't think I was trying to hide it. It's just that this discovery shakes my convictions.
That's why you're so keen to find out who removed the painting from the mansion.
Yes. Anything else?
I don't believe the fire is the only reason this house is in such a state.
It's a very old building, you know? Its foundations would probably date from the arrival of the first settlers.
It's got nothing to do with Charles Hawkins' debts.
Ha! You've already begun to nose around, it would seem. So, since you already know it, the Hawkins family couldn't afford the upkeep of this house. It remains to be seen what they did with all their money. I wager it was Charles Hawkins' travels. Let's go up there. Unless you still have questions.
Night falls quickly here.
I'll go with you.
You stay here and keep an eye on things.
Okay. But don't get the impression that I'll leave you alone inside the mansion.
No question of leaving now. I must examine the scene of the fire. Jeepers! Poe's prophetic raven. Bradley was right. This place is much older than I imagined. The flowers on on Sarah Hawkins' grave are fresh. The caretaker takes great care of these graves. The caretaker. Recently fallen. It's as if all life is abandoned the place. This entrance is still in use.
Whoa!
Whoa!
You are trying to force the door, you nosy prick!
Easy, sir, all right? Put down the axe.
You know what we do with rubble like you? We gut them. Dump them into the ocean.
Whoa! You're Mr. Winchester. Lower that axe. And let's talk calmly.
I'll show you how we have it out on Darkwater. What do you think you're doing? So talk, and no baloney.
The police report describes a domestic accident, but Stephen Webster has several reasons to believe that this may not be the case.
Webster is as stubborn as an old mule. And I did tell him that we should let the dead rest in peace.
He wants to restore the reputation of his daughter. I just need to see where the fire started.
The mansion isn't safe. You would break your neck as sure as you're trying my patience right now.
That's why you barricaded the entrance.
That's right.
And this door?
It's locked, and I make sure it stays that way.
No one lives in the mansion, and you don't take care of it anymore. If you have a good reason to be here, I'm listening.
There's vermin. I keep an eye out.
Vermin?
Yeah, that's it, vermin.
Right. This is what we're going to do. I go inside, and I promise that I'll hunt vermin. Okay with you?
I'm not sure.
If there's nothing else to fear, you can give me that key.
Right. Take the key and do what you have to do. Go on, then. Just to get... get rid of you.
Let's see what more I can learn from this mansion.
Piers, shall we enter?
I'll have to find another entrance. I'll have to find another entrance. I'll have to find another entrance. This gate is locked. Bourbon. Empty, of course. The poor wretch seems to spend the best part of his time isolated from the world. Rather Spartan. The caretaker has simple tastes. I know a thing or two about solitude myself.
Piers, shall we enter?
Now that you finish your fun and games with Silas, we can perhaps inspect the mansion.
You're right. Let's go. Let's take a look inside.
I'm coming with you. There's no way I'll leave you alone in there without a watchful eye. Follow me. I know the place. Who left this light on?
The Last Supper of the Hawkins. What does this tell me? Sarah Hawkins and little Simon. The perfect picture of the middle-class family. What kind of meat is this? This place is for the head of the family, Charles Hawkins. The boy was probably here. Smashed his plate on the floor. Sarah Hawkins' plate. Why did she leave it untouched? Something happened at this table. An argument?
Hey, Pierce. Daydreaming again?
Working, officer. This dinner table tells us a lot about the Hawkins family life.
Well, we don't have all day. The scene of the fire is next door. Silas managed to bring the fire under control, but it was already too late for the Hawkins.
Was Charles Hawkins some kind of explorer? Too much rubble. I'll find an easier way. Charles and Sarah's wedding, as painted by Sarah herself. Let's see if I can find something the cops missed. The child's corpse left a trace. Where are the others? Did it stop at the time of the fire? They had a fight. Why? Was Charles Hawkins a heavy drinker? If the painting I found on the docks really came from here, how come it didn't burn? Did someone escape the fire? Blood. This lamp was thrown. This was no accident. This was a fight. Someone fell here. A desperate attempt to flee. And the boy.
So, Detective, what do you make of it?
I think that some of your colleagues should turn in their badges. This room is bursting with evidence that seriously contradicts the official inquiry.
Well, of course, Mr. Holmes. Like what?
I found a bottle of whiskey. Empty.
Well, that must have been a loss for you.
No glass. I suspect one of them drank heavily to calm down. Charles, most probably.
That's pretty thin. Who says that bottle hadn't been there for a while?
It would seem at least one person fled the crime scene.
What'd you say?
That mark on the door. Someone's hand slid down there. The left side has no mark. The door was open and that someone left.
For God's sake. I mean, if it's Charles or Sarah, they wouldn't have left their son.
They would rather die in the flames as a family instead of calling for help? I don't buy it.
Oh, yeah?
I can tell where young Simon was, but not his parents. Where were their bodies found?
I can't help you on that one. Charles and Sarah's bodies had already been carried away when I got here.
Without your authorization? By whom?
Marshall, Andrews, Chief West. We never deal with cases like that, you know. So... well...
I firmly believe this fire was more than just an accident.
Huh. What's your theory?
Someone deliberately set fire to this mansion.
You sure of that?
There's only one way to be sure.
I just ask that you don't disturb anything. If Chief West found out about what we're doing, I'd be in serious trouble.
This door is locked. These bandages are covered in dried blood. But whose? The lyrics of the drunken sailor, a sea shanty. This door is blocked from the outside. An original edition of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, dated 1818. A book on the first inhabitants of the island. It seems they got here around the 14th century. A book on the first inhabitants of the island. It seems they got here around the 14th century. Moby Dick, Melville's classic. The epic battle between man and whale. Mandatory reading for any whaler, I guess. What do you know about Charles Hawkins' activities?
Well, not much, to be honest. We all assume the Hawkins lived on Charles's inheritance.
Darkwater history. This place was settled back in 1692 by two families that seceded from the New England colonies. There's something disturbing about this painting. There's something disturbing about this painting. There's something disturbing about this painting. "20,000 Leagues Under the Sea." Another story about the mysteries of the deep. A crowbar. Could prove useful. A book on hunting whales, the island's staple diet last century. What could Sarah have done to make this person threaten to call the police? Locked. The boys' room. A child's fort. From what threat was Simon protecting his world? Tom Sawyer. Mark Twain. Sarah must have read it to him before bed. Sleeping pills. Strong for an 11-year-old boy. What was wrong with this family? What nightmarish vision could have inspired them? Simon's troubles went beyond family problems. That kid saw something. Something terrified him.